Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here, and today you'll be flicking, sliding, and bumping your way to victory. You'll be trying to create pathways to allow your future discs to get into your opponent's back row. Pathways is a game of dexterity, strategy, and skill for 2 players or up to 4 players with the optional neoprene playmat. It takes 5 to 30 minutes to play. It's for ages 14 and up and published by Argentano. Now it's on Kickstarter right now, so I'm going to show you how the game works and I'll see you on the other side. This is a Kickstarter preview, so all the art and components you see here are prototype. They're not final, so check the Kickstarter link in the description of this video to see all the most updated art and components. Now I have the game set up and we're about 3/4 of the way through the game. Now let's just say we are the red player here. We're going to be flicking these discs and trying to get as many as we can in the back row, because every one we get in the opponent's back row, this row here closest to the opponent, we get a point. So right now we're at 1, but they are at 2 because they're shooting from that way coming here. Now as you're flicking these discs, you're going to be creating pathways by having them fall into some of these holes, making it easier to get shots, or you might even get like what's called an ace shot, which is being able to get all the way to the back row without even using other pathways. So to take a turn, you'll take one of your discs that are left. By the way, this is a very nice, high quality bamboo board. I mean, this is one of those pieces that you'll put on the table. It'll last, generations, and this will be something you can play for many years to come. High quality components for sure. So when it's your turn, you'll place this behind this line anywhere, and then you'll simply flick it. You can't push it, you can't go past the line there, you have to flick it. Now, if it ends up in your own home row, it gets discarded and it's out of the game if it falls into that hole. But again, you're trying to either get up to the back row or maybe use the pathways that are already there to try and get, again, into as many as you can into the back row, but also defending yours. So there's a lot of strategy as well. So let's say I'm going to use my opponent's pathway and part of mine. Let's see if I can get it in this spot just right there. Ooh, see, it flew off to the other side, and because it went off the edge and past the last row, it's discarded and out of the game. So let me show you another shot trying to do the same thing. Okay, so there, I didn't quite hit it as much this time, but now it stopped there. Now it'll be the other player's turn, and again, they might be trying to get some in here, but I've kind of blocked this pathway now. So if they're gonna shoot this and they're gonna try to use this pathway, it's probably gonna hit mine, and they could try to hit it off the board. They could try to hit it in here to make a different pathway, but it might also make theirs easier. So there's a lot of strategy as well as to what you hit and when and what you're trying to do. Now I've just spun the board around because we're going to be playing on the black side now. So again, now this is what it would have been looking like from the opponents now. That's the one that we'd shot from that way before. And now, so this player's got to figure out, okay, can I get it over here and then maybe just get over here like this? Can I do that? Do I want to hit this? Probably not. It's kind of in the way of the good pathway, but I might still be able to use some of that pathway either going this way and then maybe going this way or maybe going up that way. So there's a lot of different strategy there. Ooh, see, I tried to get that way and tried to get all the way there. I almost got an ace, which is getting it right into there. Well, I did kind of use some of the pathways, but I got it almost there. But now, again, it's also made the pathway a little bit easier for them to start off, maybe coming from this way and going up here. So there's different strategies there. Now, I've just flipped the board around again just to give the camera a better angle. And again, where the red player is shooting from this angle, this was the one we left on there last time. So what do we want to do? Do we want to try to sneak by and get to here? Or do we want to maybe at the same time, maybe hit this into here, making the pathway a little bit easier? But again, every time you put one in there, not only does it make it easier for you, it also will make it easier for your opponent. So let's say maybe I want to try to hit this over to here, maybe get this one over here. Oh, I just missed hitting that. Oh, darn it. So now let's see if we can get it over here. Use their pathway to try to get over there. Oh, almost, but I've set myself up for future rounds to be able to kind of just get myself into that back row. So I spun the board around again. Let's see if we could try to again if I could get this one into here and get this one like maybe over here or even into that one. There's lots of different strategies here, what we could try. Let's see here. Oh, look at that shot. Perfect. Got that right there. And I almost got that there. That's amazing. So I just switched the board again around so you can see it now. This player here, I can hit this and get it out of here, because they might be able to hit it and get it into here, which would be a point. We might not want them to do that. So we might just take this and hit this so it goes off the board, and maybe ours will just fall on that. Now that'll do two things. Once it will get rid of this, which will allow them to score. But if I do get in there with the black one, well, it does also make it easier for them to go there again. So I've got some tough choices. Maybe I will try to hit this thing off and maybe have it carry them over here and maybe get over in this area like this. Okay, well I ended up taking them out, but I did a little too hard. I ended up taking me out as well. Well, now the board's cleared, I've swapped it around to the red side here, showing you. Let's see if we can get like right in one of those two. Nice little pathway there. Oh yes, look at that shot. Right there. Oh yes, look at that shot. I just swapped it around to the black side here again, because, I mean, before I was making a bunch of these because there was a bunch of, discs here, but this is a nice pathway, nice long pathway. I can go right up in there and try to get right up in there, that far row there. So let's try that. Almost, but so that's pretty much how it works. At the end of the game, 1 point for each of the ones in the back row. Whoever has more is the winner. Now that was a single game, but you could play a match game up to 11 points, playing multiple games into a match, where you get 2 points if you're the winner, 1 point if you're tied. And if you get all of the pieces in the back row, all 7 of them there, you get a perfect game score of 4. And you just play until whoever gets 11 points to the match wins the match. Now when you flip the board over, there are numbers on the rows, and this is called the double row scoring. Now here it makes it a little easier to score points, because if we were shooting red from this side over here, any red in here is 1 point. Any red in the back row is 2 points. So they have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you keep track of score here. And the black one has 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now like normal, if you got yours, red was shooting this way, sorry, if black was shooting this way and they came here, it would get removed. By the way, they come with these cool little removers that just takes them up. But if they get black in the second row, or if red gets it in their second row, it's okay. So you could actually use this as a little bit of strategy to block the other player from getting one here. Because if they go one here, it's 1. You can go there without penalty, and it blocks them from being able to get there, which is 1. So another strategy as well. But the scoring works just like that, adding up the points in the rows that you've gotten them in. Now there's another alternate bonus game called 3 in a row, and that's where you're trying to get 3 in a row in any configuration, as long as they're in the last 4 rows. So if we were red, we were shooting in this direction, any of these last 4 rows, if we have 3 in a row in any way, like 1, 2, 3, as soon as we had gotten that third one in a row, we would have won. So this player also had 3 in a row. So just to show you the different ways that you could have gotten 3 in a row, but the first player that would have done that would have won. There's also a neoprene mat available as an add-on, and it creates a nice even surface for the bamboo board. But it also adds many additional ways to play as well. Now the first one is called Dead Center. Now you can play this between 2, 3, or 4 players. You can play teams as well with 4 players, and essentially you're trying to be the closest to the dead center. That was obviously a pretty poor one, but you would be going clockwise. So maybe this player comes in here, they're sitting on this side. Well, they're a little bit closer. Now you could use just the black and red acrylic discs for 2 to 4 players, and you use a certain amount of discs depending on the players, but you could also have a 3-player game here, and they'd have their own color as well. So now they're the closest to dead center. But now, green's sort of in the lead there, so red, ooh, look at that shot. And maybe now black will come over here and they'll try to, trying to hit red out and actually hit him a little bit closer. So there's a lot of that strategy too. You're trying to knock people out of the way, but you're trying to have the most of the one that's closest to the center. But let's say at the end of the game it looks something like this. Now this red player has the closest one, but they actually have 2 that's closer than the closest anything else, so they would get 2 points there. And you would continue to play until any player or team, if you're playing a team, has 11 points. Now you can play another version called Dead Center Break the Ice. And in this game, it starts off like this, and these are hindrances. You're trying to shoot and get through those, and you're trying to get rid of them because they can hinder your scoring. Like for right now, I wouldn't score anything, but other players are gonna be trying to come in here and hit those out. So as you see, if it ended right now, this player would get 1. They wouldn't get 2 because this one's closer than that one, but this is the closest. And again, you could play to a total of 11. Now here you have a game called Moving Target. And so there'll be a white neutral disc out there at the beginning of the game, and you're trying to be the closest one there. But it's a moving target because this, you still have to be closest. Now, red is technically closest right now. So let's say black comes in there. Ooh, and they hit that. Now, who's closer? Well, in this case, we'd say this one is just a tiny bit closer. So even though black just went, they're going to go again because they are further away. Okay, so now black is closer. Now you don't want to hit this off the board because if you do hit it off the board, the round ends and the other team scores 2 points. And so the team that is furthest away, or the player that's furthest away, will be hitting it trying to be the closest. And at the end of the round, whoever has the most, the closest one will win, just like before. But if you have multiples that are closer than the other, they would get multiple points. For example, if it ended like this, black would get 1 point because they have 1. And this player would stop them from scoring a second point because they're a little bit closer than the next closest one. So 1 point. But if it looked like this at the end, then black would actually score 3 because they have 3 closer than any red one. And again, for 2 or 3 or 4 players, you get 6, 5, or 4 discs respectively. You could play a game called Moving Target Break the Ice, which is a combination of the games that I've already shown you. Well, the moving target is the white, you're still trying to get in there, but there's these hindrances of a neutral player there that you have to break through before you can try to be the closest like this, and these things can stop you from scoring as well. So it's pretty much taking the ones that I've shown you together before and put them together. Now here we have a game called Striker. Now here we have 5 discs of a couple of colors. Here's a 2-player version, but you could also play this with 3 or 4 players as well. If you played 4 players, there'd be another set of discs here, another set of discs here, and you're still trying to be the closest to the middle, but you're going to be using a striker disc like a white one, and you're trying to carom it off and try to get it into closest to the middle. Let's think of it as like a cue ball in pool. And so what you do is on your turn, you're going to take a striker and you're going to hit one of yours and try to get it in there. Now you have to call your shot, meaning which one of yours you're going to target. And if you hit like an opponent's first, now let's say it looked like this, and I'm going to call my shot to hit that red one first, but if I shoot and I hit that black one first, the one that I called gets removed. But then the striker always gets removed from the board. And then the rest of the dead center scoring works. So in this case, there's 2 blacks closer than the closest red, so black would earn 2, and you're playing up to 11 points. And again, you could play 2 to 4 players, and you could play with teams if you like. Well, there you have pathways, and as I showed in the overview, you're balancing dexterity, strategy, and skill with many different modes of play. If you'd like to see all the most up-to-date art and components and all the different pledge levels available, you can click the link below me in the description of this video. It'll take you directly to the Kickstarter project page, and I'm sure that Argentano would love your support.